What's up everyone, John from Beyond ARTV. It's time for another episode of 7 on Sunday. This week I'm going to be counting down my 7 favorite moments that happened at concerts. Not my 7 favorite concerts necessarily, although some of the moments did occur at some of the best shows that I've ever been to. I have done that video already though. If you're curious, you can check the link in the description down below. I might do an updated version of it before too long if you guys are interested. I figured a lot of you guys are out there maybe on the Vans Warped Tour this summer, maybe you just saw a show there, or caught another concert series that was moving through your town. I know there's a lot of great tours going on right now, and I'm excited for a couple that I have on my radar. Thanks so much for watching this video today. I hope you enjoy the countdown. Don't forget to leave a like. Let's go ahead and jump in at number 7. I swear this wasn't intentional, but this happened at a concert in Baltimore, Maryland in 2013. Switchfoot performed a random cover of Seven Nation Army by the White Stripes, an amazing song, a song that is played a lot of times by a lot of different people. It's used in popular media all the time, a lot of commercials, that sort of thing, so obviously you guys are probably pretty familiar with that track. But Switchfoot's take on this track was just so incredible. I loved it. As soon as I heard those opening bass notes, I was just like, whoa, wait, what? They're playing a Seven Nation Army cover? So unexpected, because I had seen Switchfoot live several times before. I've seen them again after that, and they've never played a Seven Nation Army cover. So whenever they rocked the house with that, I just felt like, I don't know, I felt special for some reason. It's like one of those moments that you don't get to see every single day. And I know it's just a band playing a cover song. It's not like they broke out one of the old hits, or I witnessed some band play one of their own songs that they had never performed live since 1973 or something like that. But I still thought it was a really cool moment. I was there with one of my friends. We were on a road trip passing through Baltimore, and it was just something that made the night that much better. By the way, I've had several cool moments with Switchfoot. I actually talked about it in my top 10 Switchfoot countdown over on ARTV. That video I mentioned during Restless being performed live whenever I was front and center. Me and John Foreman kind of like, he just like was reaching his hand out in the crowd, and we like, I don't know, it was a really cool connection whenever we just like grabbed hands. It's like, yeah, we're here in this together. And then actually one of the first times that I ever saw them live, I believe it was the second time, they were performing a Sabotage cover by Beastie Boys, and John Foreman ran out into the crowd, and I actually helped him get over one of the little security barriers, and you can see I actually got that on video, so that was awesome. The next moment on my list comes from not the concert itself, but a sound check before the concert. I went to Bonnaroo in 2012, and one of my favorite bands, the Red Hot Chili Peppers, were the headliners for one of the nights. Obviously, I went to that show, I was way back away from the stage. There was like 60 to 80,000 people there, I believe. Amazing concert. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It just made me love and appreciate them that much more. But the actual moment that I just ingrained in my memory is the sound check. Whenever the band was out there, I wasn't exactly supposed to be in the venue, actually into the farm or whatever they call it. It's been a while since I was there, but I kind of got through security and I just walked back there. I was wandering around Bonnaroo, and the Chili Peppers were actually there sound checking. Not all of the members were there yet, or maybe they were just, I don't know, messing around. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but I walked up to the barrier, and Flea, the bassist, is just right there. And I was just like waving. I just like waved because I didn't know what to do. I'm like confused, like, am I supposed to be here? No, I'm definitely not supposed to be here. What does the band think about me being here? And I just kind of like waved at Flea, and they were messing around, and he kind of leaned over and just shouted like, hey. You could kind of hear it faintly, like, hey. And I was like, holy shit, I just said hey to Flea. Whoa, life equals made. Next up comes from another out-of-state concert experience I had. New Politics were playing. It was a local radio thing. There was a lot of bands there that night, and New Politics were just like crazy live. They're not one of my favorite bands, but I do enjoy a lot of their material. But their lead singer is absolutely nuts. He's always out in the crowd. I mean, you can see he's like walking around on the stage, like on top of people, you know, like crowd surfing, that sort of thing. But the craziest moment is the fact that I never crowd surf. I'm not that type of guy. I just don't do it. But my friend convinced me to do it. Get up there, go on, go on, go on. So I took everything out of my pockets, left it with my friend, and I was up there crowd surfing, and that was like right whenever he started walking around in the audience. So I'm sure that there's pictures out there somewhere probably that somebody captured of me and the singer just like being crowd surfing at the same time. It was crazy. We were both floating around, and I like looked over at one point. He didn't make eye contact with me or anything like that or acknowledge it, but I still thought it was really cool because we were like right near each other, like within like arm's distance. I could probably reach over and touch if I wanted to, and I was just like, holy shit, we're in the moment, we're feeling the music, this is awesome. Number 4 comes from one of my favorite bands, and actually still to this day the best concert I have ever been to, Avenged Sevenfold, a metal hard rock band with just a lot of awesome albums and tracks. Me and my friends traveled to Atlanta, Georgia to see them. This was a well worth it travel to see them because they are so amazing live. My friends had kept talking about it and they were like, let's do it, let's do it. I've already seen them a couple of times. They put on such a good show. They did not disappoint. The pyrotechnics are on point. You could feel the flames just shooting off during these songs, feeling their energy. And the moment that really stood out to me, and the reason that it's making the list, is just because it was special to me. I've listened to these guys since actually 2003. I didn't really know who they were then, but I actually ended up getting into them with City of Evil in 2005 whenever I started to really pay attention to and love music. But off of the NASCAR Thunder soundtrack, they had a track on there, Waking the Fallen, off of that album, Chapter 4. That was the track that got me into them. And seeing them live, it just meant a lot to me. And during one of the guitar solos, I can't remember which song it was, but it was Sinister Gates. He looked out, one of their guitarists, he looked out during the solo of the track and was just kind of like scanning the crowd for like the vibe. And I was there in like the second row, and we locked eye contact for a second, and he was just kind of like nodding, and I was just like, whoa, I was just like, holy shit, I don't know why this is so cool, but it is, and it just feels like, I don't know, I had like a little bit of like a fanboy moment, and I think that that's okay from time to time, especially when you just see something come full circle like that. It's not the fact that, oh, he looked at me, I'm dead inside or something like that, I'm dying, I'm literally dying. No, it's the fact that it means a lot to me because it's a childhood memory, and whenever you're like recognized or noticed by one of those people like in real life, and you just realize that this is actually something, you weren't just listening to the CD, you weren't just listening to it on your iPod. This is something real. You're here in the concert, in the moment, rocking out with them. That's what made it so cool. Number 3 comes from last fall, October 2015. I went to go see one of my favorite new bands, one of my favorite bands of the 2010s, synth pop act Churches. Backstage, I was getting ready. I had a photo pass. There was a couple of other people back there, like kind of asking, like, all right, what are we doing? Like, how many songs? I'm not really doing this very often. Obviously, I get a photo pass from time to time for shows. So, yeah, what do I do here? And they were like, oh, yeah, this and this and this. And then out of nowhere, lead singer Lauren Mayberry and one of the guys, I believe it was Martin, if he's the taller one, they kind of walked through. Martin kind of like veered off, but Lauren stopped for a second, and I just said, hello, and she was like, hello, and kept going, and I was just like, I had a moment, okay? Don't judge me. I was a little bit overwhelmed. And then front and center, once the show started, I mean, yeah, I took the video of Keep You On My Side. That was the preview you saw before this video. And that was killer. So good to see them just performing some of my favorite songs just right there. And I was literally like this far away from Miss Mayberry while performing these songs at some points, because she would lean forward and like get all up in everybody's face with like trying to be like, I guess, more connected to the crowd. I was there for the first 4 songs. It was incredible. I wasn't even paying attention to taking photos. I was just like, yeah, let me take this in. More of this, please. Number Number 2, hanging backstage with Hoodie Allen. Hoodie Allen is an independent rapper. He's never been signed to a label, and I've always, pretty much enjoyed every project that he's dropped. Not all of them are super great or anything. I do like a lot of his stuff. All American probably remaining my favorite to this day, and I've actually got a couple of signed copies. I'm actually going to pull those off. I'm proud of it, damn it. As you can see, I got All American and People Keep Talking signed, and there's not a ton of copies of this one in existence. He actually got me this copy himself, which was really, really cool of him to do. He invited me to come backstage. We had DM'd on Twitter. We had kind of been like talking for a while off and on. Like we would like tweet each other or else comments on Facebook. And he had thanked me for a couple of the reviews and reached out to me a couple of times. And I reached out to him talking about an interview. He let me come backstage. It was a student performance at UNC Wilmington down at the coast of North Carolina. He was doing a show there when I lived in that city at the time. I don't anymore. And he was just like, yeah, man, come backstage. There was a little bit of trouble getting back because they were like, oh, wait, we're not letting him do any interviews. And Hoodie was just like, he fixed that pretty quickly. He took care of that, and he actually ended up getting me a photo pass for the first 4 songs, so that was really, really, really cool. I got to interview him. You guys loved that interview, at least you seemed to. It was just, I don't know, it felt natural. It was so much fun just hanging out with him. He's a really cool artist. And then after that, we talked a little bit before. I had my camera woman there with me. She was helping, like, obviously getting a second camera angle, if you guys saw that interview. And it was just a fun experience. I enjoyed the interview. It felt really just smooth. And then afterwards, he actually wasn't just like, all right, I'm on to the next thing. He was just like chill to talk for a little bit. Like I wasn't really forcing conversation, but he was just talking about like the reviews, stuff like on my channel, stuff that he had coming up, and just kind of life in general. And it was really cool. He took pictures with like both me and her. And then after that, I was like, oh, wow, I actually remembered that I brought these CDs with me. And my friend had already left. She had like finished filming or whatever, obviously, and was like headed back down to the stairs to the venue. And he was like, yeah, come over here. You can get the CD signed, man. And he invited me into his dressing room, and him and his crew were hanging out in there, putting the set list for that night together. And he was like asking if I had any requests. I kind of like froze up on the spot, and I was just like, James Franco? Yeah. And he was like, yeah, we can do that or whatever. It was really cool. I got to hang out with them for a couple of minutes. Obviously, he signed the CDs, and it was just one of those experiences that I'll never forget. What's number 1 on my list? Obviously meeting Linkin Park, some of my childhood heroes. This is the meet and greet pass. I didn't pay for this. I've never paid for a meet and greet. I actually won this, and it was really, really cool. I just entered into the contest last minute and actually happened to win, and I was freaking out because I was like, holy shit, I'm gonna meet some of my childhood heroes. And it was so cool because I had actually had an interaction with Chester Bennington, the lead singer of this band, one of the lead singers at least, and he had told me, like, thank you for the great review of our album, The Hunting Party, and he had retweeted the link to my review as well, which was so awesome. I was just not expecting it at all. I think I had tweeted it to the band like I had done several times with like artists and that sort of thing. You never think that they're actually going to see it, but Chester actually replied, and the best part about it, and the moment that I will never forget, obviously the concert was incredible, but the moment that I'll never forget is Chester actually recognizing me, recognizing who I was, the little dude on YouTube who was reviewing music. And he told me, he's like, you reviewed The Hunting Party, and he was giving me like advice and like kind of motivation. He was like, you got to keep going, man. He's like, just don't stop doing what you're doing. Just be consistent. Keep being honest with like what you feel about the music and that sort of thing. And it just felt so real. Like he wasn't like some dude that just acted like all above you. None of them were. I met all of them, and I actually got my copy of Meteora, my first Linkin Park album, and just an album that means so much to me, signed by all of the band members. So this is definitely a prized possession in my eyes. But he was just so down to earth and just willing to chat. There was no pictures allowed or anything like that. They weren't like letting you take selfies with the bands. I'm pretty sure that's a general meet and greet thing, but he was so cool. He was just like down to take a selfie with me. And then it was just like, it meant a lot to me. It probably didn't, like, it didn't take that much effort on his part, obviously. He didn't have to go out of his way. He was already there meeting fans, but I was actually the last person there with him, and he told the security guard it was okay to take a picture, and the security guard himself took the picture. I was the last one to leave the meet and greet, and Chester was the last one as well. All the other band members had already packed it up and left, but he stood there with me, talked to me about ARTV, just talked about the band and memories for just a minute, and it was so cool. It made me feel like all of that stuff that I like did in my teenage years, all of the times that I just like play their music, it was just like so worth it, and it had all come up to this. Let me know some of your favorite concert memories in the comment section down below. I hope you enjoyed watching this video, me sharing some of my favorite memories here. I know that you weren't there to experience it, but it's just always cool to talk about because you have these memories that are ingrained with you forever. And it's something that's just so cool because music means so much to so many people, and seeing it come full circle in moments like these that I talked about today, it's just super rad. Thanks for giving this video a like, subscribing to the channel because friends don't let friends go unsubscribed. If you would like to check out more 7 on Sunday, you can click the little annotation below me for either the last episode or the last review that I did over on ARTV, or you can check the link in the description down below. There's a playlist that will let you catch up on all episodes of 7 on Sunday. I will see you guys very, very soon right here on Beyond ARTV.